Welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Power podcast. I am your host, Julia Renee.
And Kendall Graboff.
And today, guys, we are talking everything birth control.
Fun topic.
Yay, woohoo. Being a woman, so great.
No, it literally sucks.
It's literally the best. So the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because we actually got an email the other day from a listener who was basically commenting on one of our previous podcast episodes where I briefly talked about my birth control experience. And I was like, we need to just do a full topic on this because so many women struggle with to be on birth control, to not be on birth control, which one to take. And we're not here to tell you like which one to take or anything, but just share our experience, especially being fitness professionals, fitness people. So I wanted to read her email really quick, and I'm not going to use her name because she didn't give me permission. So I'm just going to, you know who you are when you're listening. Okay.
Miss Anonymous.
Miss Anon. Let's talk. Oh, wait, no, wait. That's the title of the episode. Anyways, she says, hi, love y'all's podcast so much. I've been looking into going off birth control or going non-hormonal after nearly 10 years of being on it. I know Julia switched to the copper IUD, and I know lots of women, me included, are afraid to see what happens when you switch. So could we get a little update on getting it, the pain, etc., and how your body is feeling after being on hormonal birth control, mentally, physically, workouts? Thank you. And yes, we will do that. So Kendall, do you want to share your story on birth control first?
So just like a quick overview, I was put on birth control when I was 12 years old, which is so young. No, I was not sexually active, which like you do you, but not at 12 for me. I was put on it because my family has a history of ovarian cysts, and I had developed one at 12. So like I started my period at 12. They were really bad, really painful, really frequent. Like literally every other week I was bleeding, which like not fun. So they did an ultrasound. They found a cyst. It was not cancerous, thank God. But in people that young, being put on birth control is like an easy way to regulate cysts. Something with, I guess, forced control of your hormones allows it to kind of overtake what your body would naturally do. And clearly my body was naturally having really bad periods. So I was being put on it for that reason. And then I just stayed on it until I was like 18 because that's all I ever knew. Like I was put on it, I was told to stay on it. So that's what I did. And then I went and saw a doctor, and actually that was the time I was diagnosed with depression. And a lot of the studies my mom was reading was young women being put on birth control so early in their life can actually cause the same either actual chemical imbalances or the illusion of depression, where like you just, again, like hormones are they can be so beneficial and so detrimental. And I feel like mine were being pretty detrimental, and we were like, maybe it's the birth control. So I went on antidepressants, came off the birth control, and I was really scared to come off because I was so used to being on. Mm-hmm. I had done one show being on, and I will say, looking back, and we'll get into like its effects on fitness, so hard to lose weight. I was doing 2 hours of Stairmaster every fucking day. It was awful. But yeah, at the time I had no idea that like that would even be a reaction of birth control, similar to you.
Because it's like something that you almost forget that you're taking it.
Yeah.
And especially like I didn't start when I was 12, so I couldn't imagine. It's almost like like when your mom tells you need to take this gummy.
Yeah,
because blah,
I was like,
blah.
This is my vitamin every day.
This is my vitamin. I have to take it. If I don't know what happens. But adults are telling me to take it, so I imagine that's really scary.
Yeah. So I came off from 18 to 20. When I was 20, I competed again. And I competed a few times in that. Way easier to lose weight, I will say, compared to when I was on birth control at 17. Then again, also you have to consider as a listener, your hormones are just completely different when you're a teenager. So if you're a full-grown adult woman listening, like your reaction to birth control would be way different from like a 15-year-old girl on birth control, obviously. But the reason I went back on is after my last show, which was 2 years ago, after nationals, my hormones were just like severely fucked up. And instead of me doing the right process of healing my hormones, I was like, easy fix, I'm going to go back on birth control and it's going to take everything over again. Yeah. I don't regret it because I was such in a dark place because my hormonal acne was so bad, because my weight gaining was so bad, and I just wanted something to like
regulate it fast.
Come in and regulate. I don't care what the side effects are. Now I'm ready to come off again. Okay. Now I'm like, okay, I don't like being on birth control, which we can talk about.
Copper IUD.
I'm so afraid of something being inside of me for that long that I feel like I will not get it.
Don't even feel it.
I will just like
but
the
it is
mental.
But it is weird. Like there's occasional times where I'm like sitting on the toilet and I'm like, there's something just floating inside me right now.
There's no like, that makes me anxious just thinking about it. So that's like my general history is I was on majority of my adolescence, came off for 3 years, and now I've been back on for like a year and a half.
Okay. So some of the things before we move on to mine that I just wanted to mention too with Kendall is like, just imagine like being 12 years old. Cause when Kendall and I were talking about this previously, your hormones are like, the way that I like to describe it, they're just like coming in, like you're coming into it and then they're getting almost just annihilated by something else.
So that's something I discovered recently is like, if you look at it from an outside perspective, I never got to go through puberty.
Yeah.
My hormones were completely being intaken by a pill, which by the way, I've only ever been on pills, just to clarify what system I was doing. But yeah, like I never had a proper puberty. And I feel like in the last few years, I've like my face and stuff has matured way more than it ever did like while I was on birth control. It's so weird. So
that's true. And like it's in the past year and you've gotten like your lips done and like Botox, but haven't.
Like I look at pictures and I'm like, who is that? Like even a year ago.
Yeah, you don't look like you have a baby face anymore. You like are like Thank a woman. So maybe we're just making shit up, but like maybe you're going through puberty now.
No, that's what I said. And like right now I'm currently breaking out, but like that's besides the point. Overall, my skin has been so much better and like I don't know. I was also switched. I don't know. Well, obviously go into like your background with birth control. I was switched what birth control I was taking like once a year. So like it takes a few months for your body to even get used to what you're giving it. But I was like, like the doctors, I don't know, like I was 13. They were like, you have acne. You need to switch to this one. And I'm like, I'm 13. I'm going to have acne. Like it is not the birth control. You don't have to switch me every few months. It was insane. Like my body went through like so much abuse from birth control.
Well, yeah, because it's like right when your body starts getting used to one thing, it introduces another. It's the same thing like with dieting. If we're going to use that example, is that you're trying to see a result, but then people don't wait long enough to see if it actually happens. They're like, okay, I'm going to eat this many calories and then we'll see how it works. And they're like, I'm impatient. Let's try something different. And then you put your body through it again. It's very similar to that, but you know, you're messing with your hormones.
Yeah. And it's hard because like we'll talk about, obviously there's other choices like the copper IUD, which I'm terrified of. But it's hard because like I'm also in a relationship and I want the actual use of birth control is to be birth control. And yet I've only ever used it as controlling my periods or controlling my hormones. So then I'm like, well, I want to come off because I don't want to do either of those anymore, but I still want birth control, which is why we need men to have their own.
Men,
know they're working on it? Yeah. Men are better start taking the pill because I'm over it.
Let's make them get the copper IUD. I don't know where it would go, but
that sounds so painful regardless of where it goes.
Come on, there's a lot of stuff we have to do. I actually, side note, but last night I was texting because I have a group with my mom and my sister, and we just text each other. I text in that group with them like the most. Like we send pictures of our dogs and like whatever over and over, and we fight over who has the cutest dog. Me, by the way. Anyway, so we're texting in that group and we're talking about like men because Chloe's boyfriend was bothering her. My boyfriend was bothering me in like a man kind of way. Yeah. So I was like, I wonder if there's like truths to being a man, like things that are just like, they all commonly do. They're silly because we definitely have those.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely have those. So I started looking them up and I sent them all to my mom and my sister. And it was like, does not fill the paper towel roll. It's only a gift that women have. And it was like, number 2, why do they chew and breathe so damn loud?
Like, which I have another tangent off of your tangent. I recently discovered, and I told my mom yesterday, like having a boyfriend now has made me realize that I have developed those mom qualities of knowing where everything is.
Yeah.
Before he'll even, do you know where I'm like, right cabinet, second floor up. Like
I'm really happy that you're going through this.
I was like, who am I becoming? Like, I don't even know how to like tie my own shoes, and like I'll lay out his whole outfit for his next day. Like,
it's so sad. Literally, we went a tangent on a tangent on a tangent. We went to Utah. Zach was using my toothbrush the whole time because he thought he didn't bring his. We come home.
Did he tell you he was using yours?
Sometimes he doesn't.
Okay.
Nope, he just uses it. And I know when he's using it because he makes the bristles all. I'm like, why you brush your teeth like that?
Aggressive?
Why are you so aggressive? So he ends up using it the whole time. And I'm like, whatever. We kiss. We swap way
I think
more
you're fine.
things. I'm like, it's fine. So we get back. It's been in his bag the whole time. He just, men, they have this thing. And they only look right in front of them.
They're very simple-minded creatures.
They do one scan. It's like beep, 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 beep. If it's not there, it's gone.
It must be not even on this earth.
It's in the ether. It's gone. It was in the pocket the whole time.
That's funny.
The pocket where it belongs. No, he just didn't look. Anyway, so tangent on a tangent. Men, we love you.
No,
they're just really funny, bro.
Yeah.
We're funny too, though. We're and annoying.
Imagine men on birth control, though.
It would be like,
yeah,
because they get like a cold and it's like lights out. Everything's
I mean, something I'm sure like most of the people listening to this one are women, but for those who may have not been on birth control or don't know, like I'm sure we have some younger viewers too. The side effects are insane. Like if you get a little birth control packet, it's teeny tiny and it comes in this huge box because there's like 12 letters of everything that could happen to you while taking it. Like there was like a viral TikTok, I think a year or two ago, where it was like we showed our boyfriends the side effect page of the birth control and they're just like unraveling this like giant map of like, it's terrible.
It is pretty big and it's all folded up into a tiny little square and I always throw that away.
Me too. But like if I ever read it, I'd probably freak out and never take birth control again, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's crazy is I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people are either told to get on birth control for other reasons, because that was one of my reasons, or they get on it for the reason that, birth control is used for, but they don't know why they're getting on it. They don't know how much it's going to affect them. They're not told about side effects. And I see this as a common denominator is that a lot of people aren't really explained to when they get on it. Like, do you remember...
Sure. The only side effect I remember is they were like, your boobs might get bigger. And I was 12 and my mom and I just started dying laughing.
You're like, dope.
Yeah. We were like, oh, sick. Like, this is going to be great for us. Yeah. But no, like, I couldn't tell you a single of the negatives besides like, eventually I think I was like 17 and this is right before I came off. I got a new doctor because I had moved to Texas and she told me like, oh, did you know like you could become infertile from being on it this long at a young age? And I was like, no.
What?
Yeah. And like even me at 17 knew eventually I would want kids. So I was like, why has no doctor explained this to me as a kid? Like a literal kid.
Hey, you're 12 and we're going to ruin your life at 12.
Yeah. Like, hey, you might not have kids because I'm forcing you onto this medication, which like, I'm glad that they did it because it really was really bad when I went on, but then they should have taken me off. Like I was still seeing my doctor and they were still condoning it. And like,
it's just wild that it's
just crazy.
There's not like a conversation about what could happen or what are the possibilities and, the future when you get on it. It's just like a Band-Aid. And I feel like a lot of, this is why I hate going to the doctor. Because
literally, I
they always just
so much.
They always go first to try. And this isn't everybody, it definitely isn't. I don't want to generalize, but the experiences that I have is that people just want to put a Band-Aid over the problem instead of, really going into it, which I can understand in some parts because there's tons of people that are there getting seen and it's like, it's just like, get rid of this thing.
It's like, I don't know. It's a good and a bad system. I think it depends on your doctor specifically for sure.
Yeah. My coach, when we were trying to get off of it, told me more about it than my own doctor.
Yeah.
And he's just my bodybuilding coach.
And a man.
And a
good
man.
for him.
Yeah. And he's done so much extensive research on it, but we'll get into that. So basically my story is I got on it really, really late. And it was because I started having like a blinding pain on the bottom left, like where cysts would usually lie. And my mom and I possibly my grandma, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but they commonly get ovarian cysts.
Yeah.
So my mom was freaked out and thought that like that was what it was going to be. We get the scan and everything, and it wasn't that. So they're like, why is she getting this pain? I don't know. Let's put her on birth control. So that's why I was put on birth control. I didn't really know why I was. The only thing I do remember is them telling me it was a low dose. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, a low dose of what? I was like, is my pill smaller? I don't know. But now that I know, it's a low dose of hormones.
Yeah.
So I had been taking the same one from, let's say 18 or 20 till, oh my God, when did I get off?
Recently,
Recently,
right?
It was probably December 2022.
Yeah.
So I've been off of it for only a couple of months now. So I've been taking it that long. I never switched. I took the same one. I don't remember getting on it and having anything change about me. I do remember that the sharp pain did go away that I was having.
When you were on it or off?
When I got on it, it went away.
Yeah.
But I still get some of that sharp pain sometimes anyways. And maybe I should get that checked out, but you know,
some people just have like really bad like PMS symptoms also.
Yeah, but
was it different? Yeah.
I don't know.
I know my mom's sister literally would have to like stay home from school the whole week of her period.
I was never like that. To me, I'm like, do I have a hernia just because
you might.
I'm like, do I have a hernia?
Actually might.
Just because I like lift and like, remember that one time that we went to the gym and I was squatting and I had that pain in that side, and it's because I just literally put so much pressure. I'm like, to try and get it up.
Maybe your intestines, dude.
Maybe I'm falling apart. Anyways, let's move on.
No, it's still important.
Yeah.
What was your reasoning then, or you and your coach's reasoning then to coming off?
Okay, so I mean, I did how many shows? My first show, my second show, my third show. I did all my shows
on
birth control. Yeah. And like people were telling me, you included, Kendall, I was a person that I always had to do. And I don't even want to put this on myself and be like, I'm always going to be this way. But I don't lose weight as easy as some people do. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of always going to be the case. But I now know that I was probably working a lot harder than I had to because of birth control. So I started with my coach 6 weeks out from my first pro show because if you were watching my series, Zach was coaching me the entire time. And it was just too hard for our relationship because there was no boundary of like coach and boyfriend.
I'm honestly still surprised you guys did it so long.
Bro,
I would have there's no way I would let a significant other coach me.
It's so much better now because we don't have to talk about any of that. He just gets to be there and support me from the outside instead of be the one who's like in charge of my future. You know, it's kind of too much
Makes
pressure.
Sense.
But yeah, so 6 weeks out, I got with my coach. And the reason I'm telling you that is because it was all very fast. He had to get to know my body. He had to get to know me. And I'm like so surprised that he took me on. And I bless him every day because he got my body to the best that it was going to look in that amount of time. Being on birth control, you know, going through all the things that I went through during that prep, which was like a breakup, family issues and stuff like that. And we only recently, I would say probably like in December, he only recently found out I was on birth control because I never told him because I never thought it was a problem. I was like, you know, it's like a vitamin that I take.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. He's like, this is probably why we literally got on the phone together and we were both like crying and laughing at the same time. Laughing because like I've been working so hard and this is probably why and we have an answer, but crying because why didn't we figure this out sooner?
Yeah.
So he's like, you got to get off of it. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm telling you, I've had thousands and thousands of clients, and so many of them, when they get off of it, it's so much easier for them to lose weight. A lot of them don't realize that they have a higher dose than they actually have. He's like, it messes up with so many different things, you know, not just the purpose that it's for, but like with depression and feeling like your hormones have to do with
cravings
a lot of stuff.
Too, which like both of us are like had experienced binge eating, and it could definitely be tied to our hormonal imbalances.
Yeah, I haven't, the things that I noticed getting off of it, which I should probably go into later. Yeah, I'll go into that later. We need to go in chronological
it doesn't have
order.
to be structured. You can talk about what you want.
These episodes are just supposed to be like us talking about things, and I'm trying to still make it structured.
So step one, get off the birth control.
No, and this is not us telling you to get off of it, obviously.
I'm on it.
Yeah, she's on it.
And I love my body right now. The only negative I think I have right now is knowing what it did to my mental health in the past, and I guess the fear of that coming back. So,
but you just fear about everything.
Yeah. But maybe that's why.
Maybe your fear is in that little pill you take.
Because I also, I want to say this. I have taken...
Say it. Say it.
Thank you for your support. I have taken a pill every day since I was 12 because I went birth control. I then overlapped it with antidepressants. Then right before I came off antidepressants, started birth control again. So I just want to be like done. Yeah. I just want to not take a pill because I'm mentally doing way better than I ever have. Like literally since I was 12, I was having depression symptoms at 12. I don't know how to talk right now. That's when I would say my depression started, was like that young.
And it's hard not to think that there's not a correlation.
Exactly. So like I'm doing really good right now, but I just want to be like done. So I think the only part I don't like about it is still like the mental aspect, and knowing also that I did lose weight a lot easier when I was off of it. And I mean, we're obviously not doctors. We don't know everything, but everyone has their own hormonal system. We all have our own levels, and no one pill will fit like me and Julia even.
Exactly.
Like intaking progesterone could affect me really positively, you really negatively. Like everyone's so different.
Yeah. Definitely. So. And that's what's important about like getting your blood work and really like getting a full comprehensive panel of blood work. I literally got mine on Monday, and I'm starting to get my results back, and I'm sending them to my coach, because if you go through your doctor, you go through your doctor, most of the time you'll get a very basic panel. And it'll only show you some things, and a lot of things there are hiding underneath it that are really important. So I get a full comprehensive panel. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's so worth it because there can be a lot of things going on that you didn't know. Like, for example, for me, after this last show, I think it was my insulin levels were high, which would make it harder for me to lose weight. Correct? Look, I'm not. My insulin was off, and I just did my blood work again. And this was after we literally just focused on my health, eating good foods, and really trying to get my hormones back to normal and getting off of the birth control. Everything went back to normal. Literally, I'm in the green, which means good. And there are some that were like in the red that were off.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is a side note. Get your blood work done because
I need to.
You never know. You really, really never know what's going on. Okay, so going back to like my birth control story. So I had that phone call with my coach, and he was like, we need to get on it. Like, get off of it, I mean. Get on it by getting off of it. And I was like,
Get it together.
I'm scared. I've been on this for so long. What's it going to be like? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, but the good thing is that we have time before your show. And he's like, this is a perfect amount of time to see what happens. And I was like, but I still need like some sort of birth control. And I had no idea that the copper IUD existed.
Yeah.
And I thought it went in your arm.
Oh, no, that is one though. But that one's hormonal, yeah? I think so.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. This is how little
I don't know either.
This is how little I know about it because nobody really told me. The most that I learned was from my new doctor, who I asked to get the copper IUD from. She explained it so well to me, and my coach as well. So he was telling me some of the side effects that could potentially happen and what might happen when we switch. Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened when I switched. So I got off of it. I would say,
because my skin cleared up and I had way more energy when I came off. I distinctly remember because I was journaling it because I was I want to see if I have any side effects coming off. I
did notice that my skin was a little bit better. I'm not someone that really struggles with acne normally, but when I do, I get really pissed because I don't really struggle with it. Yeah. And it's like, why is this happening again? But yeah, I noticed that was what happened when I got off of it. But he had me do kind of like a weaning off of the pills. So I would wean off of them, like do every other, because there's still a little bit of hormones in it. So it's like you're weaning off the hormones.
That's actually really smart. I think most people just stop.
Yeah, they do it cold turkey. Yeah. So, and then he said, once you are taking like that last, you're taking that last one, he's like, I want you to not take it for like a week and then go and get your IUD put in. So that's exactly what we did. And it was great. Everything was really smooth. I had a doctor that just walked me through everything, you know, when you have to get a new one, what it might feel like. And so when I got it in, I was like so confused I thought it was going in my arm, and I'm like, are they going to cut me open and stick it in?
No,
I didn't know.
Even like day of?
No, I did then.
Okay.
But when I had a consultation before I got it. So at the consultation, I was like, oh shit, I thought it went in my arm. It doesn't go in your arm.
Oh no.
So and she literally explained, it's going to feel like you're having, like someone is forcing you to have a cramp.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was one cramp, and then you feel it, and then another cramp, and then it's done. And so she was like, you might have cramps for the rest of the night. Like you're on your period. It's
sorry
like
to be cringing. I do not do well with the internal organs.
She was like, it might literally feel like when you go home, you're having a period. And that's what it felt like. But I literally just pops, and she's like, you can pop some pain pills. She's like, I can give you a couple right now because you might start feeling it when you drive home. The one thing that was so weird and annoying. So I drive a Jeep, and it's really bumpy. So I was driving home, and I was like, ow, ow. It was so bad. I was like, geez. That was the only thing. And then it felt like I had a period that evening, and that's it. The next day, it was normal. I feel great. And
it literally scares me so much.
Yeah, it's literally just that uncomfortable, like someone is forcing your body to cramp, like you're on your period, and then you just take some pain pills before you go home, and then you go home. And I just told Zach, I was like, I'm just gonna lay on the couch, and then the next morning I was fine.
Yeah, I saw you like the next day, and you were doing great.
Yeah, I was like,
I think
fine.
We filmed that day.
We did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this affects my prep this year, because I think
like update the pod even once in a while on like if you're having an easier time dropping weight.
Yes, and I will definitely do that with the podcast and with YouTube, because I can just tell you this story up until now, but now it's like, okay, let's like actually test it. And I am praying that I can just do less cardio, because my body was working so hard, and my coach kept telling me this. He's like, for how hard you work, your body isn't repaying you for it.
Yeah.
And then once he, found out I was a birth control, he's like, Julia, this is
makes so much sense.
Why didn't you tell me?
That's how it was for me. My first show ever, I was doing 2 hours on stairs 5 or 6 times a week. And you good? And where was I going? I get distracted.
2 hours a week.
Yeah. And still on stage, like I looked very soft. And then my first show I remember after was when I switched to WBFF, and I was doing 45 minutes a day, 5 times a week, came in like probably 10 pounds leaner, like easily.
It's crazy.
And eating way more carbs. It's just insane. Like I have a client that has a very hard time losing weight, and she hates the doctor. It was like pulling teeth to be like, please go. She thought she was potentially pre-diabetic. She is not, but she does also have insulin imbalances, but also her thyroid was like a huge red flag. Thyroid, besides like hormonal, besides your hormones pertaining to birth control, get your thyroid checked too. Can play such a role in gaining weight or losing weight.
Definitely. I think it might have been after my last show too. My thyroid. Okay, it's hyperthyroidism, and then I had hyper.
There's hypo, and
hypo is when it's too slow. Hyper is when it's too fast. So it was too fast, and now it's regulated and back to normal. So like really getting your blood work, full comprehensive panel. There's literally places you can get your blood work done. They're literally inside like a grocery store or like a Walgreens, like any of these like superstores. There's like a Quest Diagnostic. There's a LabCorp. And they're really inexpensive there, even if you don't have insurance.
I need to go.
Yeah. So full blood flannel. But yeah, that's our experience with birth control. And I know that there's some people that like my sister, who has had the hardest time with birth control. She's been someone that's had to switch it. She's got the arm one, so much so that I think she had one. Oh no, that had to do something else. But it's been terrible for her. Like,
and other people have great experience. Like
I got on it and that was it.
I have no issues at all.
It only affected me like once I started bodybuilding.
Yeah. And we're by no means being like, you have to come off. But if you are noticing these, like, my skin is like inconsistent, my periods are inconsistent, and I'm having a hard time losing weight, that is like a huge factor to look at.
Yeah. It could be something that's definitely making your fitness journey a little bit harder than it has to be. And like the copper IUD is I'm glad that that's something that exists.
They need to invent something else for the girlies like me who cannot do that.
You want a copper IUD that's oral?
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. She's scared. We just need to knock her out and have it done. And then
just knowing it's in me would be so bad. Like, I had to get, not to be TMI, but like, if you've listened this far, who cares? I had to get an internal ultrasound when they thought I had a cyst the other week. Hate it.
I hate every part about that stuff.
They I've never had a pap smear done. Have you?
Yeah, it's the worst.
I have to get one soon.
It's
my first one, and I'm so scared.
It's the worst, man. Like, literally, it's.
I'm so scared.
Why is being a woman the worst?
Yeah, right? On that note, I feel like that's
well, yeah. If you can do the pap smear, you could do the copper IUD.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll get that done, and I'll let you know if I cry or not.
Do a one and done situation.
Yo, while you're up there,
just pop one of these bad boys in. You know.
Oh God, I'm so not excited for that. My body's going numb just thinking about it.
What are you gonna be like when you have a baby and you have a human living inside
Literally
you?
awful. I've thought about that. Childbirth doesn't scare me. Having the baby in me for 9 months does.
Okay. Starting to see more about what you're like.
I just like, I don't know. I feel like I deal with so many like intestinal issues that I'm so like, it's almost like my brain pretends it knows like where all my organs are. Like I can like almost visualize it.
What are you saying?
Like, I know we know where our organs are, but like most people are like, I have a tummy ache. And I'm like, my left side intestinal, it's definitely the large one. It's definitely descending right now. That hurts really bad. And I feel like I should be done talking about that.
No, I kind of like it.
I like definitely hyperfixate on like internal organs just recently.
Yeah. So
I think it's just with my recent like stomach issues. I'll probably be fine by the time I'm ready for kids.
Kendall's going to be fine.
This is why I'm staying on birth control for it now.
Kendall knows where all her organs are, and if one is off, she just knows, guys.
Which I'm always wrong. I assume I know. And then they test it and they're like, no, you're literally fine.
Kendall
and I'm
goes
like,
into
oh,
the
it was
doctor.
just a tummy ache. Okay.
She's like, I know you're the doctor, but I know my left intestine is messed up. So you're going to want to check that.
No, literally. They want to do also, how fun of my month, they want to also do a colonoscopy.
Let's just make it a day for you. And
I'll get a pap smear and copper IUD
call
and
it
a
D-Day.
colonoscopy.
It'll be D-Day.
Just go up in all the holes and call it quits.
Yeah, it does suck to be you
Ian's
right
gonna
now.
have such a fun time editing this
know,
one, if he is.
You're welcome, Ian. Well, guys, that's been our experience on birth control. You know, get your blood work done. You know, check in on how you're feeling. It might be for you. It might not be for you. We're not here to tell you.
We are not doctors.
We are not
clearly.
doctors.
Although I think I am one.
Even though Kendall thinks she knows where her intestines are. I don't.
Oh, I could tell you.
I don't. Well, we love you all so much. And you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.